I want you to think about the last time you really needed to know something complex.
Huh.
Not just, who won the game last night, but something messy. Maybe you were looking for enterprise software for your startup.
Or trying to figure out which heat pump works with a vintage home renovation.
Exactly. 5 years ago, what did you do? You typed a few awkward keywords into a search bar, best heat pump vintage home, and then you became the researcher.
You did all the work.
Yeah.
Opening 10 tabs, skimming through fluff pieces.
You were the processor.
Yeah.
But today, I catch myself doing it all the time. I open up Claude or ChatGPT, and I don't search. I just dump my entire context into the box.
Right.
I say, here's my floor plan, here's my budget, my climate zone, tell me what to buy and why. And the machine gives me a paragraph. It gives me a recommendation.
And that shift from retrieving links to retrieving answers, that's probably the single biggest disruption in how we find information since the hyperlink itself.
It's incredible for a user.
But for a business, it is absolutely terrifying.
That is the vibe we are exploring today. Because if the user stops clicking links and starts reading summaries from an AI, what happens to your website?
If you aren't the recommendation, you're not just ranked low, you're basically invisible.
So we are diving deep into a fascinating text titled, Defining the Role of the AI Search Agency.
It's a timely piece. It argues that we're watching a completely new industry being born right now.
And a quick note on the source material, it was written with a UK business audience in mind, so you might hear us reference organizations with an S.
But the physics of what they're describing, it applies to everyone. Whether you're in London, New York, or Tokyo, the models work the same way.
So the mission for this deep dive is to unpack this new entity, the AI Search Agency. Is it real? Is it necessary? Or is it just, snake oil?
And to answer that, we have to start with the core distinction the text makes. It separates the world into two eras, the era of ranking and the era of recommendation.
Let's break that down, because I feel like ranking is just so deeply ingrained in our brains. We all want to be number one on Google.
We do. For 20 years, the goal was ranking. You wanted to be the first result for, say, best CRM software. You optimized for the search engine's index.
Right.
But the source argues that AI doesn't rank in that old sense. It recommends. It's a subtle but violent shift.
Violent is a strong word.
I think it's intentional because on a search engine, you've got 10 results on the first page. There's room. In an AI conversation, there's usually room for one, maybe two.
The winner takes all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So an AI search agency isn't trying to get you to position 3. They're trying to get the AI to understand your business so well that it recommends you as the primary solution.
Okay, so if I'm a business owner listening, my first thought is, I already pay an SEO agency a lot. Can't they just do this?
And the source addresses that head on. It draws a pretty hard line between SEO and what it calls AIO, AI optimization.
I feel like a lot of people would hear that and think it's just a rebrand, just SEO with a new label.
Well, it's a fair criticism. But the text breaks down the mechanical difference. SEO is about keywords and backlinks. It's about signaling popularity to an index. AIO, what this agency does, it's about optimizing for interpretation.
Interpretation, that feels more abstract.
It is, but it's crucial. The source lists specific platforms. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini. These systems don't just count links, they read. They inject your content and try to build a model of what it all means.
So the agency's job shifts from technical manipulation
to interpretive clarity. It's a totally different goal.
Interpretive clarity. Okay, let's make this concrete. The text outlines 4 specific responsibilities for these agencies. And honestly, when I read the first one, I kind of laughed because it sounds so simple.
Which one?
Defining the organization. The source says job number 1 is to ensure the AI understands who you are in one stable sentence.
Yes.
I mean, come on, surely every business knows who they are, right?
You would be surprised. I would wager that 90% of businesses fail this test.
90%. Really?
Absolutely. Just go to a corporate About Us page. What do you see? We are a synergistic solutions provider leveraging next-gen paradigms to empower stakeholders.
Okay, I'm already falling asleep.
Exactly. And so is the AI. But it's worse than being boring, it's ambiguous. The source calls this identity clarity. If an AI reads that sentence, it can't confidently categorize you or use software, a consultancy, a bank.
And it doesn't want to guess.
It hates guessing. It wants certainty. If the probability score on who you are is low, it won't recommend you.
So the agency's job is basically to tell the marketing team to stop being clever and just be boring.
We are a cloud storage provider for mid-sized law firms.
Precisely. Radical simplicity. The text calls it entity grounding. You ground your business in a specific concept the AI already understands. If you try to be everything to everyone, the AI just sees you as nothing to no one.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that's job one, identity clarity, one stable sentence. What's number two? Aligning subjects. This flows right from the first one. Once you have that stable sentence, we are a vegan bakery, you have to make sure everything else you produce aligns with that.
This sounds like basic brand consistency. Why is this a special AI thing?
Because of how these models detect patterns. So you have your vegan bakery, but then you write a blog post about the best steak knives because you saw it had high search volume.
A classic SEO tactic. Chase the traffic.
Right. In the old world, that might work. You get some clicks. In the AI world, the model looks at your site and says, wait, identity says vegan bakery, content says steak knives. This is an inconsistency.
So it gets confused.
It lowers your subject alignment score. The AI decides your site is a confused entity and trusts it less on both topics.
Wow. So the whole messy room approach to content, just throwing everything in there, actually hurts you now.
It creates what the source calls semantic drift. So the agency's role is to come in and clean house. They might actually tell you to delete content.
Which is heresy in traditional SEO.
I know. But if it doesn't align with the core subject, it's just noise. And noise kills recommendations.
That is going to be a tough conversation for a lot of marketing teams. Okay, let's move to the third responsibility. This one hits close to home for me. It's called strengthening structural clarity.
This is the death of the recipe blog format.
Oh, thank goodness. You know the one, you want to bake bread, but first you have to read 2,000 words about the author's trip to Paris.
And the smell of the yeast in the morning mist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And why did they do that? Because Google's algorithm used to see time on page as a ranking factor. Longer was better.
But the AI doesn't have time for your nostalgia.
It's not just time, it's processing cost. The text emphasizes answering implied questions. If your page title is How to Bake Bread, the implied question is, what are the steps? The AI wants to extract that structure fast.
So if it has to wade through paragraphs of fluff to find the oven temperature, it considers the structure weak.
Exactly. An AI search agency focuses on structuring that data. They use lists, tables, clear headings. They optimize for extraction so the AI can look at the page and say, aha, here is the answer, with zero friction.
It sounds a bit clinical. If we all write for robots, do we lose the human touch?
That's the tension, right? But the source argues that by satisfying the machine, you actually serve the human better, too. The human also didn't want the story about Paris.
Fair point. Okay, what's the fourth one? This one goes off the website entirely. Reinforcing external signals.
This is the background check.
How so?
Well, you can say, I am the world's best dentist all day long on your website, but if LinkedIn says you're a general practitioner and Yelp says cosmetic surgeon,
And a press release calls you a healthcare entrepreneur.
the AI gets confused. It's that consensus problem again. These models work on probability. If there's conflicting data out there, the probability that you are what you say you are drops.
So the agency makes sure that one stable sentence is echoed everywhere.
Everywhere. LinkedIn, Crunchbase, directories, news articles. It's like being the town gossip. If everyone tells the same story about you, it becomes the truth.
That is a perfect analogy. The source calls this building answer strength. Not domain authority, which is a link metric, but answer strength. How confidently can the AI state a fact about you?
I really like that term. It feels measurable.
It does. But I want to push back a little bit. We're talking about all these new rules, consistency, clarity. But isn't this just good business? Why do we need a special agency for this?
You'd hope so. But the source highlights a specific workflow that makes this different. It defines the AI workflow in 3 steps. Summarize, interpret, select.
Summarize, interpret, select. Okay, walk us through that.
So the old model, the search engine lists options. In the AI model, the system first summarizes your content. It compresses it. Then it interprets that summary. And finally, it selects the single best answer to show the user.
And the risk here.
The risk is that you can be indexed, but not selected.
So you could be on the first page of Google, but if your content is confusing, ChatGPT just ignores you when it writes its answer.
Precisely. You could be the best option in reality, but if the AI can't interpret your value clearly, you don't make the cut. You're in the library, but the librarian never recommends your book.
Okay, that's a chilling thought. It's the difference between being in the phone book and being the person the operator actually recommends.
Yes. And that requires a level of rigor that common sense usually misses.
So let's talk about the myths. Because with any new hype cycle, you get snake oil salesmen. What are businesses getting wrong here?
The biggest one is the idea of technical tricks.
Yeah.
The dark arts of SEO. Just put this line of code in your header.
And you'll rank #1.
Right.
People are selling that for AI. Inject these hidden prompts. The source says no. This isn't about technical manipulation, it's about strategic clarity. You can't code your way out of a confusing business model.
So hire a clear writer, not just a clever developer.
In many ways, yes. It's a communication challenge first, a technical one second. What about the relationship with SEO? Is this the year someone finally says SEO is dead?
Not quite. It says AIO builds upon SEO. It doesn't replace it. You still need a fast website. You still need to be discoverable, but it's the next layer of the stack.
If SEO gets you into the library, AIO gets the librarian to recommend your book.
That's it. So don't fire your SEO team, but maybe give them a new playbook.
Okay, now here's the myth I find most interesting. Size matters. The assumption that only the big guys, the Nikes and Coca-Colas, will win because they have the most data.
The source actually flips this on its head. It argues that size can be a disadvantage.
How?
Think about a giant corporation. They have 50 departments, legacy content from 2010, conflicting mission statements.
They're a loud, confused signal.
Exactly. Whereas a small competitor can decide tomorrow, we are X. They can align their entire digital footprint in a week. They can present a pristine, consistent signal.
So clarity beats volume.
The AI prefers a clean, small signal over a loud, messy one. It can be a real democratization of visibility if you have the discipline to be simple.
That is incredibly empowering for the underdog. If you can be clearer, you can beat the giant.
That's the argument.
So we've covered the what, the how, and the why. But what does this all mean for the future of the internet itself?
The source implies we're finally moving toward a true semantic web.
A term we've been hearing since the 90s.
We have. But now we have the technology that can actually read it. We're moving from a web of documents pages linked to pages to a web of knowledge, entities linked to concepts.
So the goal is no longer just getting traffic.
The goal is becoming part of the world's knowledge base. You want to be a fact. You want to be the truth for your specific niche.
You want to be the answer.
Not just a result, the answer.
Understandable, stable, recommendable. Those are the 3 words the source leaves us with.
And notice none of those are flashy, viral, or clever.
No. It's a return to basics.
And that's the irony, isn't it? We built these hyper-complex, trillion-parameter brain simulators. The best way to talk to them, be simple, be clear, tell the truth.
It's almost like the machines are forcing us to be better communicators.
Or at least, less annoying ones.
I'll take it. So we've unpacked a lot. The rise of the AI search agency is a symptom of how the web's architecture is changing. We are leaving the keyword era and entering the context era.
And businesses that insist on jargon and complexity are going to find themselves speaking a language the new gatekeepers simply don't care to translate.
Which brings us to our final thought. We talked about that one stable sentence, the absolute necessity of being able to define yourself simply.
It's the prerequisite for existence in this new system.
Right. So here's the question I want to leave you with. It's a bit existential, but bear with me. If the primary way humans find information is through AI, and if AI ignores anything it can't clearly define, then if you cannot describe yourself in one stable sentence, do you effectively cease to exist?
In the digital world, I think the answer is yes.
Something to think about while you rewrite your LinkedIn bio tonight. Thanks for taking the deep dive with us.
Always a pleasure.
Catch you on the next one.